If you think you've had real pasta before, think again, because these Italian chefs just taught us how to make the best pasta possible. Or should I say pastable? Okay, let's begin.
I want to hear you speak, try to speak French. I feel like it sounds so funny. It's embarrassing. But we're like,
I can't speak
mole, français, et mignon.
Mignon, filet mignon. Alright, so today we are going to a pasta making class from Impastiamo. They are traveling all around California and New York. I think they're probably going to expand to some other locations, but this is my first ever cooking class. Some context, I cannot cook. Probably find a way to burn cereal. It's about 2.5 hours long, and I'm in San Diego. So they have this class, San Diego, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and like all over. They're expanding and they are a traveling class. So this is like a fun date idea. You can do this with your friends too. I'm going with my friends, so it'll be a lot of fun. So let's go. As soon as we got to the class, there was a charcuterie board, there was also a beer open bar, and we also got some wine pairings. But of course from there, the class was ready to start and the head chef started showing us exactly what to do. First, she says to create a little crater in the flour and then add 70 milliliters of water. Then you'll start mixing the flour and the water, just kneading it into a ball. Now, who would have thought you only needed 2 ingredients to make pasta? And it's best to add water little by little so it can start taking shape. You can see how when she's kneading the dough, she's really putting a lot of pressure to mix it all around. And this process can definitely take a while, but what you want is at the end, when you have the ball of dough, to be able to put your thumb in and then it should be able to rise or bounce back up. So now is everyone's turn to try, and this is what it looks like. See, we're just mixing flour and water, not too bad. It was kind of like playing with Play-Doh, and it was super easy and relaxing. You can talk to your friends or whoever you're there with. And this is a class with complete strangers, so you're bound to make some friends or at least have a fun conversation. And here's a better technique so you can really knead the dough and make sure it comes out perfectly. And you see right there, she pressed down with her finger and it came right back up. And that's all you need to do. Well, at least for now, because we have a couple more steps to go.
You take a little part of this flour, make a little snake, and you cut a little piece, okay, not really big. Use this, but if you want to do home, I think that you don't have this. You can do with your hand, with your. You can.
And here's a better view of just what she's doing. She's rolling it out so it looks like a little snake and then cutting up the pieces. And while she's doing that, here are a few fun facts that you probably didn't know about gnocchi. It was actually believed to have originated in Roman times when they used to make it with semolina and eggs. And the word gnocchi is believed to come from gnocchio, which means a knot in wood. Looks easy, right? So now it's time to try it for myself. I'm starting off by just grabbing that ball of dough and cutting it into 4 quadrants. Of course, it doesn't have to be exact, but we were told to save one of the pieces for a surprise. Now again, it just makes it so much easier to roll out each quadrant instead of rolling out the entire ball into the snake. And then from there, we're just cutting it into smaller pieces, which will individually roll. Here's a better look at that, and you can see just how easy it is. We're just starting that rolling process. I'm moving the other ones out the way so I can roll each one individually. Now, when I first started doing it, you can clearly tell the mistake that I'm making here. I'm not putting enough pressure. You can just see the indents, like the little grooves into the pasta, but I'm not actually rolling it to where there's almost like a little hole in between. Or like the Italians say, a knot in the wood. So here's one of the chefs showing us how to do it exactly right, and as you can see in her technique, she does leave like a little gap in between the pasta, almost like it rolls over onto itself. And now here's what it looks like when I try doing it again with a proper technique. And yes, you do have to do each one individually. This was actually pretty relaxing, and it's actually much faster once you get the hang of it. From there, just a few people came up to make the pasta for everyone. And now, honestly, one of the best parts of the entire class was the pasta making competition. Now for this competition, it was 3 minutes long, and it was to see which group could make the most amount of pasta in those 3 minutes. As you can see, everybody was super excited. Everyone was rushing. They're working together in their teams, some shouting, but it was super friendly, super fun. They were even playing Eye of the Tiger. I was laughing laughing the entire time. But it was so much fun and in a great spirit, you know, like you're all together, you're making pasta, you're taking a class with a bunch of strangers, but it's literally the best thing ever. I would definitely recommend it. Now coming back over to my group, where of course I'm not there making pasta, so my friend is there, she's making my pasta for me. And what we realized is that they were actually making the chunks or the pasta bits a bit too big. The whole challenge was to make as many pasta pieces as possible. So to win, or should I say possible, but to win, you would have to make them super, super small. So that was definitely a bit of a challenge, and clearly my group did not win. Now this was actually a Valentine's Day cooking class, which is great. Plus, what's better than making pasta on Valentine's Day? This is honestly such a great date idea, as I mentioned before. But again, even like this friendly competition, I'm not sure if they do this at every class, but at least for this one, it was pretty fun. And if I do remember correctly, I believe this was the team that won. You can see just how motivated they are, and look how many pasta pieces they have. They're so small, and so many, of course. Everyone's definitely rushing over there, but it was the best. It was honestly the best thing ever. And then everyone put their hands up because the 3 minutes were over. And now it was finally time for the head chef to go count all our pasta pieces. Now this is clearly when we lost. She only counted a few, like that was nothing compared to the amount that other groups had. But at this point, it didn't matter because once this competition was over, that means it was time to eat. So we all sat down and waited for the pasta to cook because of course we can't eat it raw. I mean, honestly, at that point, I probably would because it was like 2.5 hours, but it was so good. Once we finally got it, it was so good, so worth it. And let me tell you, even though the sauce was amazing, the pasta was amazing, something about the texture, like it was so kind of like gummy, not necessarily chewy. How do I explain this? Like it was like a gummy, like very bouncy texture. It was just amazing. All right, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And of course, if you want more fun things to do, especially on a budget all throughout California and beyond, I'm always talking about budget travel tips and hacks, restaurants, where to stay, where to eat, all these things. So of course, come back for more. And I'm on TikTok and Instagram as well, so you can follow me there at Daniela Bragg Travels. Safe travels, everyone, and thank you for watching.